So, Steven, I'm hungry, and you know what? I have been feeling affected by this media that I've been watching for 31 straight days. Well, it's not 31 straight days yet. It feels like 31 days. I was sitting in my car thinking, man, I'm hungry, and then I came up to this room to record with you, and I was thinking, man, I'm still hungry. And now that I'm sitting in front of you...
Are you going to call me a snack?
Yeah, well, you are a snack. But what I am going to say is after watching all of this horror, I can think of many ways to cut you up and eat you.
Cut me up and eat me?
Yeah, dude.
Here's the deal. I'd do it. I'd try cannibalism. Ethical cannibalism.
Ethical.
That's
like consent-based?
Consent-based ethical cannibalism. I want them to be raised from birth knowing that they're going to be food, and I want them to be raised free range, you know?
It just, no fences.
They should be given adequate education so that they understand what they're consenting to, but we should shape their environment so that they feel immense social pressure to consent to do it.
Well, there's a problem with that, though. Like, what age, the government has ages on things for consent, but how developed does your brain need to be before you can consent to be food?
Well, I don't want old meat.
Old meat? Hey, so, it might be easier to chew.
I don't know, 20?
20? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Make it 20. Make it 21. If you can buy a cigarette and crack open a cold one.
Die for this country. You
can slice a piece of that ham steak off.
Yum, 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 yum.
Would you do it?
I would do it. I would start. I'd pull an Albert fish and I'd start right at your butt.
Jesus Christmas.
Yeah,
I was imagining like a well-prepared
bicep or a peck or something.
Or a thigh.
They don't call it pot roast for nothing.
That's true. Wait. Well, okay. All right. They don't call it pot roast for nothing.
All right. And with that,
so happy Halloween. Go to shop local, shop organic.
Yeah. Shop Evil Dead S-Mart. Shop smart. Shop S-Mart. All right, with that being said, welcome to Matt Talks Media. We are in episode 3 of our 31 for 31 challenge, where I am watching a movie every single day that is a spooky movie. So whether it's a horror movie or something that just is supposed to make you a fright, that is my goal. And so far, I've been doing more than what is required. I think there's been days where I've watched a couple movies. So I think by the time we get to the end of week 4, when we're done with this, I'll have watched probably somewhere in the realm of 31 to 40 movies.
That's some deep research.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to need a palate cleanser.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to do 31 for 31 in December, and we're going to watch Christmas. No, I'm kidding. I'm not a Christmas movie fan. How do you feel about Christmas movies?
They're never very good. No, it's all the same movie.
It's Hallmark. They're all Hallmark movies.
But I'm in. I'm a big fan of the old claymation ones.
Oh yeah, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. 101. You got it. I got it.
Yeah, we're similar age. We grew up with those. I think it would be much easier to digest 31 days of Christmas movies. I don't know. They're happy stories. They have some sort of good, moral or ethical or, do the right thing. And then it's like Santa Claus and joyful.
When did you, wait, hold on. Let's do a little temperature check here.
God.
Santa Claus. Do you believe in Santa Claus?
Yes. No, I'm not a Santa Claus man.
Okay. I'm going to write that down.
I was never, rich enough as a kid to have a house that had a chimney. I lived in a trailer for a while.
Your parents were like, you don't get Christmas because we don't have a chimney?
Yeah, no. So here's the thing, Steven. My birthday is the day after Christmas.
Oh, you didn't get Christmas because you got 2 Christmases.
Yeah, so my parents always made it a point to make Christmas its own thing and my birthday its own thing. So I never felt like ripped off or anything.
That's nice of them.
Yeah, they did great with that. It sucks being born around a holiday because your day becomes eclipsed by a holiday.
Right.
And then also, Christmas break is during winter break, and like all your friends, they go out of town, they go visit family. So I always had to do my like birthday parties well before my birthday.
Right. Do you know anyone that has a Halloween birthday?
Not off the top of my head, but I will say I think a Halloween birthday would be rad because you can do like
Because they're
dress
definitely haunted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they've got ghosts inside them.
You can dress up on your birthday.
I mean, you can.
It doesn't have to be. You don't have to have a Halloween birthday to put on a fun costume.
Well, when I was a baby, my parent, like when I was born, because I was born right after Christmas. I think I was born at like very early in the morning. They put me in a stocking, like as a newborn.
Oh,
it's cute.
That is cute.
Yeah, so I
You
kinda
should
wore a
recreate
costume.
that for this Halloween.
They don't make stockings that big, buddy.
Yeah, we got a textile studio. We can make you a stocking.
Yeah, we are the creative media and visual arts department. We can make a 280-pound man stocking. We can do that.
Hell yeah, dog.
All right.
All right, just a recap before we get into the movies. I just want to make sure my notes are accurate. So that's a yes on ghosts,
Yes.
a no on witches.
I think that it was more like a maybe.
Okay,
Like maybe voodoo and maybe witchcraft
witches,
work.
right? And then what else did we talk about?
Ghosts, witches, aliens.
Aliens, and that was a hard yes on
Yeah,
aliens. You even went so far to say it would be irresponsible
I said
to
the same
not believe in aliens.
I said the same thing about ghosts, to be honest. I think that's kind of become a thing.
right.
Aliens,
And
it's
no on Santa Claus.
no on Santa Claus. But, aliens, I think it would be irresponsible to assume that we're the only organisms in the galaxy. I mean,
Irresponsible.
yeah, I mean, that just,
'Cause
are we that self-centered?
You have a responsibility.
We do have a responsibility to be civically engaged, and that includes alien diplomacy.
That includes the Galactic Empire.
The galactic, yeah. Let's be honest here. Do you think our current administration could handle aliens?
That's presuming that our current administration isn't being handled by aliens.
Yeah, and the lizard.
you
Are the
think
lizard
about.
people aliens, or are they their own thing?
Oh, well, okay, hold on. Let me check my notes. I don't have. What's your stance on lizard people? If they're not aliens, do you believe in them?
It's really unfortunate because I think it's a funny concept, but the whole
Funny,
lizard,
this is real life.
the whole lizard people thing has a lot of anti-Semitic like history. So like I try not to
So you're no on the lizard.
Yeah,
people.
I try not to joke about it too much because there's this whole concept, and especially far right ideology where they say like the Jewish people control everything, and that's where the lizard people come from. So I try not to joke about that too much, but I don't know if I'm just saying like I don't know who needs to be in office when the aliens do make their presence known, but I don't know if our current administration is going to be able to handle that issue.
Right.
Yeah. We've got a whole year before we do 31 for 31 again. So I challenge you to check back in with me.
Right.
See if my ideology has changed in that year concerning ghost aliens.
That would be.
You
know what? I love that. I can't wait to follow up.
Yeah, I do plan on, just to forewarn everybody, I do plan on doing this next year. I'm assuming Matt Talks Media is going to exist for a year, hopefully so. And I do plan on doing this again under some different parameters. I'm going to be a little bit more creative in how I do the whole movie process to kind of make it less structured, because I think if you just decide I'm watching these 31 movies, you lose that like facade of choice, and it becomes like a job more than just like a fun experience.
Right.
So, all right.
Well, it seems like we're evolving. You're you're a modern man. You
Yeah.
can adapt and change.
It's the first time I've done this, so it's not going to be perfect. I mean, I am having fun. Don't let me make it sound like this has been terrible. I have seen a lot of media that I probably wouldn't pick on my own, and I think, I don't know, as a growing adult, and as we preach to our college students that we should always be dipping our toes into the unknown and trying new things.
Right.
I've learned a lot about myself in this process and the kind of media that I like to consume, and maybe in some ways the way I think about certain things. It's been fun. Yeah.
Just dead air. You
Dead
can
air.
cut that dead air out.
I'll cut that
For
dead
people
air.
who are wondering, that was dead air. We didn't cut anything weird out.
No, Steven just was so
I was really
enamored.
I was really moved. You were really talking about personal growth. I was moved.
All right, so did you hear that, Steven?
The little chime?
Yeah, did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
So that is the sound of the real or fake game show that we're about to play. So what I have done is I have created some real movie. Well, I didn't create the real movie descriptions. I created some fake movie descriptions, and then I included a couple real ones.
Okay.
And I'm going to read the description to you, and you're going to tell me if you think the movie is real or fake.
Oh, all right.
That makes sense.
Did you write these? Okay.
I had some help writing them, but
Okay.
I put it together. I'm not going to, so I won't lie to the audience. I use ChatGPT to make these movie descriptions because I think that's one of the ways you can use that tool for fun.
It is fun.
Yeah. So the first one, I'll just read the description first and let you decide, and then I'll tell you what it's called.
Okay.
All right. So a down on his luck arcade repairman discovers the circuit boards in his machines are made from human tissue.
Yeah.
When the games start demanding blood to stay powered, he becomes obsessed with keeping his favorite cabinet, a Pac-Man knockoff named Ghoul Grid, alive. Think Videodrome meets Tron with way too much slime.
That sounds fake.
It is fake. ChatGPT called this one Flesh Circuit, and apparently it came out in 1986.
I gotta be honest with you, Flesh Circuit sounds gross. But I will say the plot sounds a little similar at first to Lawnmower Man.
You know what? I know that movie by name, but I've never seen it.
Well, maybe you should add it to your list.
Is it good?
I don't remember.
All right. So, Steven, you're 1 for 1.
Wow, you remembered where those buttons were and everything.
Yeah, I am trying so hard to be a good host right now.
I love it.
All right. So, the second one. If you go 5 for 5, maybe I'll bring you a special gift tomorrow. How's that sound?
Yeah, I could use some candy.
All right. So the second one is a demonic bed awakens every 10 years to feed on anyone unfortunate to lie on it. It digests victims in a bubbling acid while a trapped ghost narrates from a painting. Completely real and completely insane.
That's fake.
It is real.
That was my gut. I wanted to go with my gut.
Oh, your gut.
But the narrating painting, it threw me off.
Yeah.
That sounded too bizarre.
So this movie is called Deathbed, the Bed That Eats, and it came out in 1977.
Wow. Okay.
So
There goes my perfect score.
No more perfect score. Feed you to the deathbed. After a tragic on-air suicide, the producers of a local morning talk show keep airing old footage of their dead host. When the host begins responding to live callers, the crew realize that the tapes may be haunted. Network meets poltergeist.
Real.
That is fake. They called it the morning show and spelled morning like
that one sounds better than the other one.
It does.
That sounds better than Deathbed.
I would watch that over Deathbed, to be honest.
Right.
And for some reason, it gave them years. Apparently, this fake movie came out in 1993.
Wow.
You know what? I forgot to give you. You deserve 2 of these now. There's number 1. All right, you're 1 for 3 right now, buddy. So you are failing, but you know what? We're gonna keep trying. You've got 2 more attempts. All right, so this one: a newlywed couple moves into a cheap New York apartment, only to find that the refrigerator is a literal portal to hell. It leaks blood, it moans, and it drives people to murder.
I'm going to call fake.
That is real. This is called The Refrigerator. It came out in 1991. It must have been inspired by Ghostbusters, that scene where they open the refrigerator and there's like a portal to another dimension.
Okay. Are you sure this is real?
I'm sure.
Did you get were these hallucinated?
I hope they weren't hallucinated. I looked up the real ones. I made the fake ones using AI.
Okay. All right.
So last chance. Oh yeah. Hold on.
Right.
There you go, loser.
Wow.
All right. One more attempt, Steven. A group of film students discover unlabeled VHS tapes buried behind an abandoned Blockbuster. The tapes contain step-by-step rituals on preparing human organs for sacrifice. It's shot like The Ring meets the movie Blair Witch.
Fake.
That is fake.
Yeah.
This was called Harvest Home Video. And you know what? You end on a high note.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah, boy.
You know what? I would watch
What?
none of those.
I would watch a couple of them. I'd probably watch Flesh Circuit.
They sound a little campy.
The morning show with the...
Actually, I might watch that. That could be done well.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a ghostly kind of
Right.
thing, you know.
Especially if like it's them reporting on some sort of story or something, and anyone who reports on the story gets in trouble or whatever.
Yeah, and that Harvest Home Video, the last one, sounds exactly like VHS.
Yeah.
So it kind of
That
already
movie already exists.
it kind of, and there's like 10 of them. So yeah, definitely. We are going to talk about some movies now, but before we do that, let's jump into a music break to kind of promote some underground artists. Again, you can find all this music on Bandcamp. I will post the links to the music in the episode description. This first artist is Nightbreed, and the song is Torn Apart by Demons.
Oh. If you're going to get torn apart.
Get torn apart by a demon. All right, and we're back. That was Nightbreed, Torn Apart by Demons. So, Halloween is coming. You better watch out for them demons hiding in the dark. All right, so let's get into talking about movies. So, first, I'm going to just tell you about the list of movies that I watched, and then we're going to deep dive into a handful of them. So, this week, I covered VHS Halloween. I gave that a 3 out of 5 skulls. I think all of the VHS movies are pretty much a 3 out of 5 at this point. So I watched The Monkey. That was a lot of fun. I gave that a 4 out of 5
Was it
skulls.
about a monkey?
Yeah, it's a Stephen King's short story.
Oh, okay.
About a haunted organ grinder monkey.
That guy is prolific.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
You think he has a ghostwriter?
You know what? He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would have a ghostwriter. He's pretty authentic.
Okay.
At least I think. I mean, I can't speak for. I
don't know the man.
I don't have the inside information on that, But yeah, so that's a Stephen King short story about you twist the key on this organ grinder monkey, and when it hits the drum the final time, somebody dies.
Bummer.
Yeah. So I give that a 4 out of 5. Really enjoyable. I watched Ready or Not. and I gave that a 3 out of 5 skulls.
Not the same as Ready Player One.
No, it's a horror movie
We
version.
got mixed up on that. I think when we were talking the other day. I was like, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I think Ready Player One is like a video game kind of thing. This one is
not
like
related.
This one is like a horror version of hide and seek. So I give that a 3 out of 5 skulls. It's kind of like a horror comedy. It's a pretty good watch. I watched House of the Devil that I gave a 3.5 out of 5. And then I watched Hausu, which is a Japanese ghost story, and I gave that a 4 out of 5. So the movies that we're going to deep dive into this week, some longer conversation, some discussion. We're going to start off with Talk to Me. Now, is this a movie that you've heard of, Steven?
I think I've heard, no more than maybe the marketing for it. Okay. I couldn't tell. I'll take a guess. It's teens. There's teenagers.
Yeah.
There's something to do with a phone. There's probably a phone involved.
They do record stuff on a phone.
Okay. All right. Not how I thought it was going to be then. And sort of underlying metaphor is loneliness.
Nah.
Yeah.
You're waiting. Hold on. I hate to do it to you, Steven. Oh, no, so you're right in a sense. This is an Australian. So let's start off just giving some of the hard facts about what the movie is. This was directed by the Philippou brothers.
Yeah, you can say it like that.
How do you say? How do you say?
No,
their
that's
name?
fine.
No, how do you say?
No, it's not. It's not a problem.
The Filippo.
Hey, listen. You have your feelings about certain people groups, and that's fine. No one out here is telling you can't say that.
I'm going to just call them Danny P. and Michael P.
It starts with a P?
Yeah, it does. It's like Philip and then OU at the end. Filippo. Yeah, I feel bad about this. It makes it seem like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just bad at
people have names.
Yeah,
people have different names. It's not your fault.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting though, because these guys are like, I guess, prolific YouTubers, and then they went on to direct movies.
And they're brothers?
More than likely.
Wow.
Or they're lovers. Brothers or lovers.
True. That could be true. They could be married.
They're brothers. They are brothers. Okay. Yeah.
Would you ever make a movie with your brother?
My oldest brother and I, we don't really talk. My middle brother, we're starting to get better.
Okay.
We may work together well on a film. I don't know.
Okay. Let me know.
I don't know what kind of movie it would be. Maybe
it'd be a movie about two immigrant brothers.
Yeah,
from the Filippos.
The Philippus. I'm gonna laugh really hard when I go after this episode and go see how that's pronounced, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, jackass!" So I apologize to Danny and Michael. I loved your movie, by the way. So this week we're kind of getting international with it because these filmmakers are out of Australia. I think it's interesting about the box office. It had a $4.5 million budget and ended up grossing almost $100 million worldwide. So that's a pretty good for a horror movie. The key cast, it had Sophie Wilde, who played Mia, Joe Bird playing Riley, Alexandra Jensen playing Jade, and Miranda Otto playing Sue. Now, I think this movie did not have a large star cast. Again, made by YouTubers, so I think that's kind of cool in a way. You get to see some people that you might not expect in a movie. Kind of talking about the plot a little bit. Steven hasn't seen it, but I have. So, kind of the setup is this group of teens, they discover a severed, embalmed hand. So what you might remember from the marketing is this white hand that's got all these words all over it.
Oh, okay. No, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, because it was really big in how they marketed the movie.
What year was this again?
This is, was it 2022? I don't know why I don't have that in my notes.
Right, COVID.
I'm about 80% sure it came out in 2022. Kind of a COVID movie. But I will say that was big in their advertising. It's this embalmed hand. I think it has something to do with witchcraft in that vein, where they use it in seance. So there's this hand, it's inside this cast, not like a cast, like a medical cast, but it's casted inside this embalm. And you grab the hand, and if you say "talk to me," it allows you to see a spirit shows up.
Oh, how convenient!
Yeah, no, it's kind of cool. It's a device to talk to the other world,
right?
Where the ghosts live, the real ghosts,
right? And those sorts of devices do exist?
I mean, Ouija boards, they exist.
Okay, well.
I mean, that is a verifiable fact that Ouija boards exist. You don't have to debate me on that.
Okay, yeah,
I mean, I think they
I'm
were
not debate. Okay, first of all, we're good friends. There's no debate here. I'm just taking notes.
I'm fighting you after this episode.
You believe the Ouija board
exists?
Allows you to speak to spirits.
Well, that's what its purpose is. I'm not saying that I believe that's what it does, but that's how it's marketed.
If someone were to really pin you on this issue,
why not? You know what? I'm already into this far.
Why not? With hands slightly raised.
You know what? I would much rather use a Ouija board than this hand. Like if you see the hand like in the movie or in the marketing, it's very creepy.
Does it animate and start like...
No, it's just like
doing that weird handshake that like uncles do at birthday parties?
I wish it would, because it would actually be kind of funny to see it just like wiggling around and stuff. The actual hand is inside. It's been embalmed into this like stuff that makes it like permanent.
Okay.
So it doesn't rot. Like the hand is inside of it.
Classic.
So it's got all this weird writing on it. And when you grab it and say, talk to me, it opens up, I don't know, the channel, like the portal for the ghost, right? So if there's like a ghost with some unfinished business, it can show up. And when you do see the ghost, they're always like really brutal looking, like they like died in some like horrific way. And if you say, talk to me, the ghost appears while you're holding it. And then if you say, I let you in,
why?
The ghost like is able to speak through you to everybody else.
Well, that
so it's like possession.
Like a really risky move.
And you find out that it's very risky. So Mia is like the main character. Her mom dies in a mysterious way. Kind of clear that it was like a suicide, but like Mia doesn't think it's a suicide. She thinks it's an accident. And Mia like actually runs into her mother using this hand, and it's hard to tell what really happens. I think what the directors and the writers are trying to do is sow that seed of uncertainty through the actions of the ghost mother. You kind of find that like she's kind of crazy.
That she's crazy historically, or becoming a ghost has loosened her
historically.
Okay, so she's bonkers.
Yeah, so she's a little like her mental health is not right. That's maybe a more like professional way to say that.
What mom's mental health is.
Yeah, you put up with your kid. They do these seances. There's these like badass Australian kids that are just like the troublemakers. And they are the ones that got this hand. And they do these little meetups where like they get together and they smoke and drink. And then they bring out the hand as like a party thing. And they let, people say, talk to me, let me in. And like, they don't let you do it for over a minute. Like once the minute happens, they like make it end. But what ends up happening is, Mia sees her mother through it, and like she's kind of haunted by it. The family that Mia stays with, they kind of took her in like after her mom died. Like she still has a dad and everything, but they take her in. They let the younger brother, who's like a kid, Mia lets him do the hand thing
to talk to his mom.
No, his mom's still alive.
Oh, to talk to his.
I don't know who he's trying to talk to.
Foster sister's mom?
No, he just wants to do it because it's like everybody's having fun doing it. Yeah. Like they make it seem like it's a fun party thing. So this kid is like, yeah, let me do it.
Catch me trying to talk to ghosts at a party.
I'm trying to talk to the ladies.
Exactly.
But yeah, he's like 12 or something. And like, when you're that age, you just want to like do what everybody's doing, whether it's shaking hands with a ghost or like black tar heroin.
Right.
You just want
smoking a cig.
Or smoking a cig. That's how it starts. Seances is where it all starts. So the 12-year-old kid basically like he does the hand thing and they let it go on for too long. And the kid goes crazy. He gets infested by whatever spirit comes through. And this is one of the creepy crawly moments that I know would make you squirm. Like he starts beating his head on the table and like blood. Like he's like beating his head real hard. And before he can kill himself, he doesn't kill himself, thankfully. But before he can kill himself, like he reaches and tries to pull his own eyeball out. But thankfully somebody was watching and they jumped up and they grab his hand.
You know what you should do? You should take some of these movies. You ever heard of the Jefferson Bible?
Jefferson Airplane I've heard of.
Thomas Jefferson is known for
oh yeah, he rewrote the Bible.
And he took out a bunch of anything that he felt was supernatural.
Oh Lord.
How about this? You go ahead and edit all of these scenes out of these movies, and then I get to watch like a fun G-rated version.
There would be like no movie.
Yeah, that's fine.
It would make me as mad as Skinamarink made me, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so the kid is beating his head on the table, trying to kill himself, and he like tries to rip his own eyeball out, and you're like, he like kind of gets in there, but they stop him. You know, the Mia ends up, through all this chaos happening, she ends up stealing the hand and putting it in her backpack, and you're not supposed to do these seances alone, but she starts doing them alone to like talk to her mom, and just nothing good comes out of this hand story. So Mia ends up in this spectral state. She goes in and out of like seeing things, and then in the final moments of the movie, what ends up happening is she gets so involved with the hand that she ends up like jumping into some traffic and like killing herself.
Wow!
And then this is spoilers, by the way. All these episodes are all spoilers. There's no way to talk about these movies without spoiling scenes. But she ends up being summoned by the hand, and like you see the hand, I think it's in another country. I think it might have migrated to like the United States. These people are playing with the hand, and when they say "talk to me," she pops up.
Okay,
and she's like, "Oh no,
it's me now."
Yeah, it's me now.
It feels like either A, they missed a golden opportunity, or B, they narrowly missed disaster in not naming this movie "Talk to the Hand."
Talk to the hand. Well, they are making apparently a second one, and it's like the first one is "talk to me" just regularly spelt. The second one is "talk to me" with the number 2.
Classic.
Yeah, and
nothing like a sequel.
And nothing like a sequel.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
I don't know.
Back to the Future.
I'm kind of confused on like how they're gonna change the story to make like this doesn't seem like it needs another one,
because it seems like what we've done here is we've talked to a ghost. We realized you don't meddle with the other world.
Yeah, as you know, you don't.
You're
meddle.
sad. You're lonely. You miss your mom. That's life, baby.
That is life. But yeah, so Mia ends up turning into the ghost. I think some of the themes that pop up in this movie are definitely like how we deal with grief and loss. Now, I can't like imagine how it would feel to like lose a parent like that. I don't know. The hand serves as this ritual object, like an objectification of death, some sort of ritual, like craze culture, kind of like the Tide Pod thing. Remember that?
Eating Tide Pods?
Yeah. So
would you call that a ritual?
Well, no, I wouldn't call it a ritual, but I would call it like, I don't know, this everybody's doing it culture, like viral culture.
Okay.
So that's kind of what the hand is to these people.
God, I wonder if they taste good.
It makes your clothes smell good, but like food good, not good for tum tum.
Probably not.
Might be bad. Also, maybe this idea
peer pressure.
Yeah, like it is peer pressure, right?
It's a type of peer pressure, right?
Are we talking Tide Pods or ghosts?
I think ghost hands and Tide Pods. That's a type of peer, right?
Yeah, because every time they use the hand until Mia steals it and is doing it by herself, they're in a party setting where it's like, oh, like if you don't do it, you're a pussy, kind of thing, right?
Do you think that maybe there's an underlying metaphor here about substance abuse?
It could be. I mean, it becomes addicting to Mia to use it, and then she has negative
fixated on it, and then her life falls apart, and it ultimately kills her.
Yeah, exactly. That would be a very good assumption to make.
Maybe it's drugs.
It could be drugs. I'm not one of the Filipus. I'm gonna feel like again like a jackass when I go back.
Man, again, people have languages. They're from different parts in the world. It's okay.
You know how to pronounce that name?
Of course, I do.
Tell me.
Yeah. No, we don't need to get into that. We have a whole show to do.
Okay. So I ended up giving this movie a 5 out of 5. It sounds kind of shallow, like when you describe it the way I've described it, maybe. But the visual effects, I don't know, the visual effects in the story and like how the actors work together, I ended up just really liking it. It was a good ghost story. And I don't know, I think a ghost story is one of those types of horror movies that could easily fall apart.
Right. Yeah. Well, it seems like there's at least some sort of underlying issue that they're trying to approach.
Yeah, they're whether it's a societal thing, the drugs, or whether it's I don't know, the viralness of like the camera and how we film things, how we share things, because that's also Like how they find out about the hand, it's like it becomes viral video.
Okay.
Somebody's got this hand that does this crazy thing. We should try to like get a hold of it.
I think it's drugs. It sounds like it's drugs.
It's always drugs.
Which is cool. You know, we need to teach the appropriate lessons about those things.
I agree with you. And I think maybe kids are tired of, seeing the dare sign and like, don't do drugs, kids, and the dog detective. Maybe we can better tell people, our youth, not to do drugs by showing them scary ghost stories.
Yeah, sure. I'm in.
Also, did Yukon High School do the thing where they brought in the like destroyed car for the drunk driving? And
that happened.
Yeah. Instead of
they did this whole thing where they took kids out of class.
Oh, fun.
And they put like little memorials on their lockers. And they're like, hey, these kids are dead.
They're dead.
And then their parents eulogized them in front of the whole school.
Talk to me. Let me in.
Yeah. Wildly inappropriate.
Very.
And, I don't think it worked.
So maybe a more effective way to get kids to not do drugs is
to haunt them.
To haunt them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So I gave it a 5 out of 5. Do you think you would watch it?
5 out of 5.
Yeah. 5 out of 5 skulls.
Okay. You know what? I'm thinking I would say yes.
The very minimal amount of gloop. The only time you really see gloop is when that kid gets possessed and he starts beating his head. He does it a couple times.
I am at least academically interested in how we frame technology of communication. So
it's almost always seen as a negative thing.
There's sort of there's a technological imaginary there around speaking with and through things. So, I'll watch it. I'd watch it.
The medium is the message.
The medium's message.
Whether it's...
I am Marshall McLuhan.
My name is Marshall McLuhan, and I'm actually talking about ghosts.
Is that what he sounds like?
I have no idea. No, he's a good-looking dude. He probably didn't sound like that.
That's weird. That's weird to say.
Hot men don't sound ugly, Steven.
I never thought of that.
I never thought of it until just now.
It's going in the notes.
I actually couldn't tell you if I've seen a picture of Marshall McLuhan. But... it's funny, the medium is the message where, we think about social media, we think about, actual media. But, we don't think about mediums as, ghost speakers, the ghost projector.
I mean, not to get sidetracked, but don't we think, isn't that what a seance is?
That is what I'm making a joke about seances and like mediums who talk to ghosts. That's what
But they are a medium.
That's the point. I'm saying
but they are also the message.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to say, like, we think about his quote in terms of like how messages are delivered in terms of like magazines and internet and social media,
and light bulbs.
But in light bulbs, but not as like people who speak to ghosts and transmit messages.
I do.
Power to the seance people. Power to the mediums.
It was very, very popular for a while.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you talked crap about Ouija earlier.
I didn't talk crap.
Oh, maybe not talking crap.
I'm just taking objective notes, as objective as a man can take in a time like this. About you, my friend. Trying to get to know you.
I think one of the biggest like creators of the Ouija board was like Hasbro. I'm pretty sure. I listened to a whole podcast episode.
I would say
about it.
If I were a betting man, I would bet that one of the largest manufacturers of Ouija boards would be a toy company.
Yeah, they are.
On account of it being
it's a toy.
A toy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it says on the box it's like 5 and older or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Hasbro is the major manufacturer. Before we dive into the next film, let's listen to some more music. This is Leviathan with the song "The Spirit of the Flesh and the Flesh of the Spirit." All right, and we're back. That was Leviathan with the song The Spirit of the Flesh and the Flesh of the Spirit. And man, that is a mouthful. Not religious, though. Not Jesus music.
No,
well, maybe.
No pun intended. So it's not religious.
I mean, if it is, it's not religious in the way that
not
you think.
Explicitly religious.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember, and I don't want to put words in the band's mouth.
It's just the title evoked sort of a Christian hymn to me.
If it's going to be... It's a black metal band, so I mean, there are Christian black metal bands, but I think it's probably like the opposite. It's either about spiritualism or about anti-Christianity.
Oh,
one
okay.
of the two. That's pretty popular in
embracing
black
materialism and idolizing the permanence of death. Cool.
Well, speaking about the permanence of death, how do you feel the human body transforming into other things?
Kafka? I've never read Metamorphosis. I'm proud of it. I'm not going to sit around at some coffee shop in some college town talking about Kafka. What do I look like?
A guy that would listen or talk about Kafka.
Nope, never heard of it. Never heard of it. Never heard it. Never heard the book Metamorphosis. Is it The Metamorphosis?
I don't recall.
Never read it. Not going to read it. I'm going to stand on my laurels. Rest on my laurels.
So speaking of your laurels, well, this has nothing to do with laurels.
I don't know what a laurel is. A wreath of flowers or something?
Yeah, it's like fancy flowers.
Yeah. I don't like the idea of people transforming unless it's cool, like the Animorphs.
It can't. I mean, maybe this is cool. I'm kind of glad it was in black and white because it might not have been cool if it wasn't. We're going to talk about Tetsuo, the Iron Man. That is the second film in our discussion today. This is a Japanese body horror film. And the reason I ask you, how do you feel about people changing into other things? This film is all about this man who starts transforming into a machine. So this was directed by Shinya Tsukamoto in 1989. And it's shot in black and white. And it's rather short. It's only 67 minutes. So for like a standard film, like it's just over an hour.
Cool.
I don't think the cast members are very well known in the United States. This is kind of like a cult film in Japan. So probably nobody you've seen before. But I will say this movie didn't catch on immediately when it was released. It's kind of like how many horror films are. It was released in 89 and then you didn't hear much about it. And then, years later, people are like, oh, they discovered the film and they love it. Same with Hausu. Hausu was like dismissed when it came out, and that came out in 79 or 77, I think. And that movie was just completely dismissed in Japan, and then it became a cult classic. So kind of the same thing for Tetsuo, kind of going over the plot just a little bit so Steven can understand what I'm talking about, and also the listener, because chances are you may not have seen this movie.
I feel like I've heard of it. I feel like I thought maybe it was a kung fu movie.
You know what? If you were to see this just in a list of movies, you'd be like, yeah, that's about like a karate tournament or something like that. It is not. It is. It is really weird. And even with subtitles, I had a really hard time following the story, the narrative. But the imagery was what really hooked me into this. So, and I don't know, like why I get why they call this character this. They kind of give him like just a description rather than a name. They call him a metal fetishist. He's this guy who implants scrap metal into his body. And then what they call a salary man accidentally hits him with his car. So this guy, like, it's in black and white. He's sitting like in the scrap metal area and he's like sticking like metal rods into his skin and stuff. Thankfully it's in black and white. So you don't really, you see like open wounds and gloop, but it's like black and white gloop.
Okay.
So it's a little
tasteful.
Yeah, it's a little easier to stomach. And the salary man, which is like the businessman, I guess accidentally hits him with his car. And then the salary man begins to turn into this metal fetishist. Like he gets this cut on his face because he sees something sticking out and he like tries to pull it and starts turning into this metal infection. And there's a subway, some key scenes that popped out in my mind. There was a subway attack battle scene. Like he's trying to run away from this woman and she's like transforming into this metal thing and she's like fighting him. There's a lot of sexual imagery in this for like whatever reason. He kills a woman with his penis turns into this like big metal drill And he,
Okay.
like, stabs
Yeah,
the woman with it.
that's
and, like,
cool.
blood everywhere. Again, thankfully it's black and white. Otherwise, this would be, like, up there with, like, Terrifier and some of, like, the Hostel films with how much blood.
Gross it is.
Yeah, it would be real gross. The narrative is just super minimal. That's kind of why ended up giving this one a 3.5 out of 5 skulls. So this is my middle of the road film. The narrative was just really hard to follow. Like, even with subtitles, there's not a lot of dialogue. I had to really watch to see what was going on, and it was kind of hard to follow. But what I liked about the film really doesn't have anything to do with the dialogue itself. It's mainly just the sounds and the imagery. Now, I think, for 1989, like, what I saw on the screen was like, if this was released in the U.S., I think it would have been like groundbreaking for American cinema.
Okay.
At least for like popular culture. It uses a lot of like industrial noise for music rather than like, actual songs. So it's like metal banging stuff. Like, if you were to go to like an industrial music concert, like that's kind of like what this sounds like.
Do people go to industrial music concerts?
I mean,
is that something that people do to themselves?
Industrial artists play live.
Sure.
I don't know if people go to them, but
I believe they play live. I'm sure they play live every weekend.
Yeah.
Is anybody there?
Anytime I would ever meet somebody that was like, yeah, I love industrial music, they were like the weirdest person I'd ever met.
I believe that too.
Yeah. Or people who are into like noise.
It's not like a guy is working at the automobile factory, right? Ford.
Yeah.
And he gets off of a long day and he's like, you know what? I just didn't get enough hammering sounds. Let me swing by the old pub. My favorite industrial metal band is playing.
Yeah. Merzbow's playing.
Merzbow's.
Yeah. You really get the love for it. But, it works really well as the, I guess, quote unquote soundtrack for this film because it's about a dude turning into a machine. So like all that metal banging. So I kind of described it as like body horror meets cyberpunk. That's
okay.
What it's kind of like. You just see all this human flesh merging with like machine and metal stuff. The guy seems like a normal business guy, and then this starts happening to him, and he seems like he's like losing his mind when he like I don't know, that woman is like fighting him, and then she ends up getting just gutted by his penis drill.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just, I don't know. I think the film maybe serves as a metaphor for like transformation, like the losing of yourself, industrialization of the body. Maybe.
Have you ever read the book Limbo?
I have not.
Story Limbo.
Who's that by?
I don't know.
Okay. Why do you bring it up?
That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I've not seen Limbo or listened to read it.
Watched it. Who knows? Who knows what it even is?
Yeah,
I just brought it up.
What is media?
And I brought it up, and then we're just walking away from it. Are any of the metal? So the drill has a mechanical part.
Yeah,
Does
it's
it
like
move?
moving. Yeah, it's like.
Do any other parts of his new body? Are they
yes
machines?
Yeah. So at one point, like the back of his feet, like turn into like exhaust pipes, and he starts going fast.
What?
Yeah, I know. He starts going fast.
He gets like rocket boots.
Yeah, kind of. Like,
okay.
The filming of it is very strange. They use like grainy 16 millimeter black and white stuff. Some pipes stick out of his back at some point that kind of like exhaust a little bit. Like, it seems like he's definitely becoming inhuman. Like he's got these like big bulbous. Yeah, bulbous. That's the word I'm looking for. He's got these bulbous things on him that like pulsate and look messed up. But it's kind of hard to tell like what it actually looks like because it's in black and white. I'm sure it'd be all discolored and gory looking. But yeah, so you see him having some machine-like qualities as well as some just like general body horror goop.
All right.
I don't know. I think it's just unique for its time.
So how does it resolve? Does he become a full machine man, or is there redemption? There's never redemption.
There's no redemption.
Right.
I mean, he just like, becomes a machine man, and you see it kind of like spread. There's like these random characters that pop in and out. And like I said, I had a hard time keeping up with like the story itself. There's a couple female characters, like he accidentally kills the woman he's with, but there's that other female like person earlier in the film that he just like randomly sits next to, and she starts turning into this weird creature, and they fight, and it's like, what is going on? So that's like, I think my biggest critique of it is why it's not rated any higher. Is just like the narrative like really doesn't make sense to my monkey brain.
Maybe it's just a cultural thing.
It could be. There's not a lot of dialogue either. It's mostly just.
Classic.
That kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's also how you pronounce the director's name from that first movie.
What was their name again?
Jack, I believe.
It was, I think Danny and Michael, was it? Yeah, Danny and Michael.
Yeah.
Danny and Michael.
Yes. There it is.
So, yeah, great visual effects. Kind of actually enhanced by that grainy black and white film. I just enjoyed it for that reason. Like, I don't think it's a very good story. I mean, maybe it's a great story. I just didn't understand it. Kind of like Skinamarink. Look, and I'm going to talk way more about that movie in episode 4. But kind of like Skinamarink, like the visuals of it look great, but like you're like, what the hell is going on? Same with this movie. So I gave that the middle of the road, 3.5 out of 5 skulls. I recommend you watch it just because it looks cool. Maybe you'll like it better than I did for the story, but it is a cool looking movie.
All right.
So if you were to turn into a machine, or not, you get to decide like what part of your body is going to become mechanical. Keep it PG, by the way.
I'll tell you what, and this is an answer that I've given for years. I've always been interested in cyborgs and cybernetics.
Oh, yeah.
Arguably, it's a foundational field of thought that influences my work and my thesis. And even when I was a young boy, I would answer this question. I would get a hot dog cooker right here. Forearm, baby. Hot dog cooker.
Does it go like you put it in one side of the arm and it pops out the other side like done?
No, like a rotisserie style hot dog cooker you get at the gas station, like one of those things, just hand on the end. I still want that hand, but now I can pop this thing. Yeah, I got 15, 16 hot dogs in there.
You know what they call hot dogs nowadays?
Wieners?
Glizzy. They call them glizzies. I don't know why.
Who are they?
Young people.
12-year-olds?
Maybe a little. Like people our students' age and like maybe one generation.
30-year-olds?
No, we got maybe one student that old.
That's true. We do have maybe one student that's maybe that old.
Yeah, so I just think it's really funny that you said hot dog cooker on your arm because lately I've been getting ads
for a lot of hot dogs.
No, not a lot of hot dogs, but specifically it's like a toaster for hot dogs. Like it's got a slot for the hot dog, and then it's got a slot that fits a hot dog bun. Yeah, they exist.
You got to send me that ad.
I will. They exist. We used to, when I was with the Tulsa World, we had a toaster that was like that to kind of get you to subscribe for, I think it was a minimum of 3 months. That was like what the contract was. Like we would go to events and get people to subscribe. And if you did subscribe for that 3-month deal, you would get you could pick one of the prizes. And I think we had like a hot dog toaster like that.
That sounds incredible.
I mean, is it any better than putting a hot dog in the microwave?
What?
Do you not cook yours in the microwave?
No, I have respect for myself.
Or you boil the water and put them in the water?
No.
And then how do you cook it?
I cook them on the grill, like a man who eats hot dogs.
You pull out a grill every single time you cook hot dogs?
Yeah. Or I cook them in the cast iron.
I mean, that's acceptable, I guess. But like, I just throw them in the microwave.
Boiling your hot dogs?
No, some people, yeah.
You're not 9, man. You don't have to do that.
No, like that's actually like how they do like you go to like a hot dog stand in like New York City.
How are you going to get into that caramelization on there?
Well, you don't put the caramelization on the hot dog. You like caramelize onions and stuff like that.
You know what? Treat yourself better. You're a grown man. You don't have to boil your meats.
I don't do it anymore, but like apparently that's like how they do it up in NYC. You know, you go to the hot dog cart, they pull out a.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Listen.
And like I can't remember if it's Chicago or New York City, but they will not like let you put ketchup on a hot dog.
If I'm not, well, first of all, I wouldn't. I'm with them on that.
I love ketchup on hot dogs.
But if some northerner tries to tell me what I can and can't do to my own hot dog,
the Steven will rise again.
The Steven will rise again.
All right. So before we dive into
dog whistle aside,
so Steven wants to put a
hot dog in every man.
A hot dog in every man, woman, and child.
That's what I'm running on. That's my political platform. Hot dogs for everybody, and the ability to have hot dogs rotisserie cooked on demand if you want it. That's covered in my medical plan. It will require a full arm amputation.
Vote Steven 2028. Am I right about that? Yeah, that's right, 2028. All right, so before we dive into talking about our last film of the episode, we're going to listen to one more song. Hold your laughter, son. This is the band Goatshit.
You're going to say, hold your laughter. This is Goatshit. All right, everybody, welcome to the radio, Matt Talks Media. Everyone, please hold your laughter for our next band, Goatshit.
With the song, Human Existence is War Without End.
With the song, Human Existence is War Without End.
But the tale of humanity will never come to a close. For the struggle of survival is a war without end. And war never changes.
All right, that was Goatshit with the song Human Existence is War Without End. And speaking about wars without ending, let's talk about The Ritual from 2017. I think it's fun. Well, this may be fun because for the first time in 3 episodes, Steven and I watched a movie together.
We watched it together. We got our pajam jams on. We got some popcorn.
We got our glizzies.
We got a couple of hot dogs
Yeah.
on deck. And we loaded it up in the old DVD player.
That is right. So,
I mean, none of that is actually accurate.
no, we were.
But that's the vibe.
that is, I mean,
That was the vibe.
you
I captured the essence of it, but
You
I
were-
didn't capture the form of it.
were laying next to a trampoline. So that is kind of childlike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we both got to see this movie together at the same time with our good friend, Dr. Nolan Meditz. And, it was an interesting experience. So The Ritual, this came out in 2017 from the UK. So every movie we've talked about in this episode was not from here,
From a different land.
from a different land and a different people.
Where the sun shines in a different way.
Yeah, sets in a different place, rises in a different place. It's funny how that works, right? I don't understand how it works.
You don't
because-
understand how the sun works?
No, because the Earth is flat.
Right. No, that's probably true.
Yeah, so I think it was a pretty decent film, and I hate to make this the last film because we go in order from highest to lowest. I ended up giving this a 2.5 out of 5, and I think we all kind of. Oh, I don't know if Steven agreed with me on this, but it had everything you want in a good horror film. It's filmed in what's supposed to be like the Swedish mountainside.
Right.
There's a creepy ass forest. They're on this hiking trip. They get lost. There's like death runes carved in the trees. They run into a weird shack with an effigy, and there's like dead goats and stuff.
Some sort of dead goat thing.
But like
there's a statue, a headless statue.
Yeah, headless statue, and
and that one guy pisses his pants.
Yeah, they have they go to bed and like they all have bad dreams.
Am I allowed to say piss?
Yeah, I mean, I said jizz in the last episode.
Oh, buddy.
I'm pretty sure
I allowed to say piss.
I mean, what are they going to do? Shut us down?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I would agree. You're saying 2.5 stars. I don't know how I can express that it was very middling to me. Cinematography, great. Colors, great. Camera shots, I'm enjoying it. But it just felt like it never went anywhere.
That's where narrative becomes, important. Also, I said cum in the last episode, not jizz. My
gross.
bad.
Again, you did, not me.
Oh.
Hold myself to a higher standard.
But yeah, that's why narrative is so important. Like you can have, that's kind of like the same with Tetsuo, the Iron Man. You can have all the cool visual effects and the sound and the lighting, but if the story isn't good, it's not going to be like a 5 out of 5 ever.
Do you think that film as a medium has the ability to generate atmospheric horror? Like, obviously, if I were to create some sort of theater piece and you entered into the space, essentially a haunted house, no problem, right? And then music has a certain pervasiveness to it, so you can listen to the kind of atmospheric or industrial horror sounds. But does film have to have a narrative for you? I mean, I'm assuming people would say no to this, but for you, do you have to be like, I got to have a story here? Do you have to have a story, or can I give you 45 minutes of like experimental horror film of just like goo and shadows?
So on like the overall level, film by itself, it might not work because where the fear really comes into play requires more than one sense, in my opinion. So like, so if you only showed like the visual of like a scary scene, I think what was it? They did this with Alfred Hitchcock, Psycho, where they took the music out,
right?
And they just showed like the woman screaming in the tub, and like people thought it was funny. But then you add like the string section to that, then people find it very scary. So I don't think like film alone with no other aspect is going to have the same effect. For me personally, again, I hate to bring up Skinamarink and then make you wait a week before we discuss it in full.
It does sound like you hate this movie.
Yeah, so Skinamarink does that. I think it's kind of experimental. Like there's not really a narrative. It is shot in a way that's very lo-fi experimental. There's like barely any dialogue, and you just kind of have to like use, I don't know how your brain kind of fills in the gaps when you are missing context like that.
Right.
I think that's what that film does, and it's meant to do that. If you gave me just like a 45-minute experimental film and I'm expecting it to be scary and like whatnot, I don't think I'll like it. But if you're just like, hey, check this out, and I watch it, maybe I would like it.
I'll have to look into it. I'm curious if anyone's, I mean, obviously there's a lot of experimental film stuff out there, but I'm not sure how much of it attempts to capture fear.
Yeah, and
or
that
horror. I don't even understand. At a certain point, like, what are we doing? I was like, yeah, this is an old building. It doesn't become a haunted building until you say that there are ghosts in it.
Yeah, and that's what narrative does, right?
Right.
And I don't know. Experimental film does have narrative, even if there's not dialogue. They use scenes to build a narrative, but then it's up to the viewer to be able to interpret that. And are they interpreting it the same way that the creator has intended it to be? And that's where the like discussions about like, I don't know, like, religion and theology and underlying meanings and allegorical stuff. That's where that kind of comes into play. Like, did this director mean this, did they mean that this is a representation of like Jesus Christ? But it could be that it has nothing to do with that. And that's just how you're seeing it as a person.
Right. And maybe Tetsuo doesn't have a narrative either. Maybe that's why you didn't get it.
That might be, I was hoping, like, there's not a ton of, like I said, there's not a ton of dialogue. So I was made sure to turn the subtitles on, and I was, kind of waiting to read stuff. And it's mostly just like visual and sound, right? You're just kind of following along in the story.
Right.
And maybe that's a me problem. Maybe I personally need more when I'm watching a story. Like maybe I haven't thought about it because most of us don't sit down and think about this. It's kind of a subconscious thing. But maybe I do need a beginning, a middle,
nice,
and
clear
end.
narrative story. Yeah. With the old triangle. Well, I would say that the ritual had a fairly strong narrative. It just never really went anywhere.
I think I had plot holes.
I think there were some plot holes.
Yeah.
Essentially says, hey, this guy is dealing with survivor's guilt because one of his buddies died and he's trying to come to terms with that. And at the same time, it's saying, well, the dynamic between these four friends is, 4 friends is radically changed and they're all navigating what it means to be, with and around each other in the new kind of normal. And I think there's ways to introduce horror characters that continue developing that, but I don't think that the monster or the cult that appears later in the movie does develop it. It just kind of says, hey, imagine having a bad day. And you're like, okay, I'm imagining that. And then it's like, now imagine if there was also a ghost. And you're like, okay, are they related? No, you were just, having a bad day.
And now there's a ghost. I think it would be interesting I don't want to put the time into it because we already have so much other things in our lives going on. Because this movie is based on a novel by Adam Neville. I'd like to see what they cut from the book, that they didn't put, what they didn't put in the movie.
Right. It has to be a lot. It has to be a tremendous amount.
Yeah, I would. You know what? I was thinking about this.
I mean, they usually do anyways. You take a movie into a book, you usually chop up ones. But I think something really critical is missing.
I think it would be interesting if they left out. So what ends up happening, they end up getting lost in the woods on this trip, trying to reconcile the death of their friend, and they run into this cult that worships this old god, and the old god starts killing them. I think it would be more interesting instead of this old god killing them, and that might be what happens in the book, and that's why it needs to stay. But I think it'd be more terrifying if it was just kind of more on the psychological side about their friend group breaking down because of this trauma, and they just start losing their minds as they're lost in the woods. I think that would have been a better story.
Right.
Yeah.
But
it would have made more sense.
Yeah. Without something more somewhere in the movie, to me, it just comes up middling, and it doesn't have it doesn't really have a point, and it doesn't really have a heart. It doesn't feel like it has any heart.
Which is sad because the rest of the film looks great.
Looks great. Actors do wonderful. Everyone really delivers. But it just kind of ends up being like, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So I gave The Ritual a 2.5 out of 5. I think Steven agrees with me. Do you
Pretty
agree
much.
with me?
Yeah.
So we talked about Talk to Me, 5 out of 5 for me, which may be surprising to some of you. I don't know. Tetsuo, the Iron Man, 3.5 out of 5. And then The Ritual, 2.5 out of 5. Do you want to leave us with any closing thoughts today, Mr. Steven Doughty?
I just think that Halloween's coming up.
It is.
And that's it. That's the closing thought. Think about Halloween. Think about all those kids that grew up too poor to have a pumpkin patch so that their parents didn't let them celebrate Halloween. Just like you didn't have a chimney, so you didn't get to celebrate Christmas.
That's right.
There's other young children out there. They can't afford a whole pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
So they can't carve jack-o'-lanterns
Think
and
about
have candy put in them.
Think about all those kids that missed out on drug-laced candy.
Drug-laced, razor blade laced candy.
Yeah.
Think about it.
And before I let you go, you brought up Halloween. I just want to talk about this for a split second, and we'll call it a day. Do you plan on dressing up for Halloween?
I don't know. Every time I ever dress up for Halloween, it is a last-minute decision right there at the end.
And then you just end up looking like yourself.
Usually, sometimes.
Yeah. Like a vampire version of you?
One
a
year,
zombie?
I went to a party as a sexy ghost.
Ooh.
And so I had put on some lingerie, but then I did the classic white sheet over my body with the eyes cut out.
Why did you need the lingerie?
Yeah, I would flash it to people sometimes. And then no one believed me. I was like, yeah, I'm just a ghost. But like the 2 or 3 people that I knew that were like friends, they'd be like, why are you wearing sexy underwear? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, at least you had underwear on. You could have just flashed people.
That would be a crime.
You're right.
I'm not trying to do crimes out here.
Do crimes.
Just trying to be a little silly, a little cute.
So I bought, and I will tell you my Halloween plans, and then we'll say goodbye. So I bought a couple years ago, fancy, expensive pair of overalls. because I was going to be a farmer for Halloween. So every year since, I've been a farmer because, for one,
because there's nothing more horrifying than blue collar labor to you.
Oh yeah,
wow, dude.
Well, why do you? Yeah, I won't get into that. But well, for one, I spent all that money on those overalls, and for two, I think people don't realize how comfortable overalls are.
Yeah, that's why people wear them.
I would wear those all the time if it was, just workplace appropriate. I guess they are work. I mean,
you could wear overalls to teach media law.
Yeah, I mean, how many of your professors? Leave me a comment in the comment section if you've ever gone to college and your professor was just wearing overalls.
I'll do it.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the third installment of the 31 for 31 challenge with Matt Talks Media. We will see you again. You'll be listening to us again on Hallows Eve.
Bow wow wow. Yippee-o, yippee-yay.
Yeah.